Robert Baratheon overthrew the Mad King Aerys II Targaryen from the Iron Throne and replaced him as the king of the Seven Kingdoms, but Ned Stark had the opportunity to seize the Iron Throne years before the events of Game of Thrones. This begs the question, would Ned have made a better ruler? Although Robert's rebellion concluded with Robert usurping the throne, it's important to remember that he was too injured after his fight with Rhaegar Targaryen to ride to King's Landing and confront the Mad King himself. Instead, Ned Stark went in Robert's place and, alongside Robert's forces with a crucial assist from House Lannister, overthrew King Aerys II. This set up one of the series' earliest what-ifs. Could Ned Stark have claimed the Iron Throne and ruled more justly than Robert? Jaime Lannister's recollection of Ned's moment in King's Landing leaves no doubt that he could have taken the throne if he had wanted. However, while Robert's Targaryen blood gave him a stronger claim, Ned's leadership skills and honor make for an intriguing hypothetical. Would Westeros have fared better under Ned Stark's reign? Or would his staunch moral code have doomed him, just as it did in King's Landing? Let's explore what this alternate history could have looked like. Ned Stark would have had more interest in ruling than Robert Baratheon. One of the most glaring differences between Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon lies in their approach to duty. While Robert desired the Iron Throne as a prize, a symbol of his victory over the Targaryens, Ned saw leadership as a responsibility. This distinction alone suggests Ned might have done a better job as king. Robert, on the other hand, quickly gave in to his vices. As highlighted in Game of Thrones, Robert preferred to drink, feast, and indulge in debauchery rather than focus on the needs of the realm. He allowed his advisors, particularly Jon Arryn as Hand of the King, to manage most of the day-to-day responsibilities. Ned Stark's honor, a double-edged sword. Ned's defining characteristic is his honor, but this virtue could have been both a strength and a fatal flaw had he taken the Iron Throne. Unlike Robert, who was willing to compromise and play politics to maintain stability, Ned had no patience for the scheming and deceit that defined King's Landing. Game of Thrones repeatedly emphasized Ned's inability to navigate the treacherous waters of political intrigue, a skill set that's almost a prerequisite for ruling the Seven Kingdoms. Take, for example, Robert's ability to keep figures like Littlefinger and Varys satisfied. These two power players were instrumental in maintaining the delicate balance of the realm, but they thrived on manipulation and self-interest, qualities that clashed with Ned's black and white morality. Ned's refusal to cater to the interests of such individuals led directly to his downfall when he became Hand of the King. Had he been king himself, his honor-driven decisions could have alienated key allies and left him vulnerable to betrayal. Moreover, Ned's relationships with the great houses of Westeros would have posed significant challenges. His rigid sense of right and wrong would have made it difficult to appease the lords and ladies of the realm, many of whom had their own selfish agendas. Unlike Robert, who could charm his way out of conflict or turn a blind eye when necessary, Ned's moral absolutism would have stirred tensions and possibly sparked more unrest. The Lannister problem. One of the most immediate obstacles to Ned's hypothetical reign would have been House Lannister. In Game of Thrones, it's clear from the outset that the Starks and Lannisters were fundamentally at odds. The Lannisters allied with Robert because it benefited them, specifically Tywin Lannister, who secured power for his house by marrying his daughter Cersei to the new king. With Ned on the throne, Tywin's ambitions would have been thwarted, and this could have led to immediate conflict. Ned's honor would have only escalated the situation. He would have wanted to hold the Lannisters accountable for their actions during Robert's rebellion. Jaime Lannister's betrayal of his oath to the Mad King might have been enough for Ned to demand his punishment. This would undoubtedly have enraged Tywin and Cersei, potentially leading to an outright war between the Crown and House Lannister. Furthermore, Tywin's brutal sacking of King's Landing and his role in the deaths of Aerys II's heirs may have prompted Ned to seek justice, a move that would have alienated one of the most powerful houses in Westeros. Could Ned have survived the Game of Thrones? Ned Stark's hypothetical reign would have come down to one critical question. Could he have played the Game of Thrones without compromising his integrity? The very premise of George R.R. Martin's series suggests that ruling Westeros requires a degree of cunning and ruthlessness that Ned simply didn't possess. Robert may have been a negligent king, but his easygoing nature and willingness to compromise allowed him to navigate the political minefield of King's Landing. Ned, by contrast, would have likely alienated powerful figures like Littlefinger, Varys, and the Lannisters within his first year as king. That said, Ned's reign wouldn't have been without its advantages. His strong sense of justice and personal accountability might have earned him the respect and loyalty of the common people. As Warden of the North, Ned was beloved by his bannermen for his fairness and dedication to their well-being. If he could have inspired similar loyalty across the Seven Kingdoms, it's possible he could have maintained order despite the challenges posed by the great houses and the political schemers of King's Landing. The verdict: would Ned have been a better king? So, would Ned Stark have been a better king than Robert Baratheon? The answer is complicated. On one hand, Ned's sense of duty and justice suggests he would have taken his responsibilities as king far more seriously than Robert ever did. His personal involvement in ruling and his commitment to fairness could have brought about positive changes in Westeros, especially for the common folk. On the other hand, Ned's honor and rigid morality would have made him an easy target for manipulation and betrayal. His inability to play the Game of Thrones might have doomed his reign before it even began. In contrast, Robert's laissez-faire attitude allowed him to survive as king, even if his rule was far from ideal. Ultimately, while Ned Stark may have had the potential to be a better king in theory, the realities of ruling Westeros likely would have proven too much for him. The Seven Kingdoms required a ruler who could balance honor with pragmatism, and neither Ned nor Robert fully embodied that ideal. Perhaps the greatest tragedy of Game of Thrones is that the Iron Throne always seems to demand the very worst of its occupants, regardless of their intentions. If you enjoyed this analysis and want more deep dives into Game of Thrones and other iconic series, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to First Curiosity. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Would Ned have been a better king, or was Robert the best Westeros could hope for? Stay tuned for more intriguing content, and thanks for watching.